Okay, hello good people. I don't think anybody's in here yet. Welcome to my Monday Night Live chat. Hello. Hi, Shawana Ruth and Miss Kia Parks. Debbie Epps is in the house. Jean Dudley, Gardner 99. Hey. Hi, Nene. Thank you all very much for being here. It is June the 7th, 1921. And it's a little bit over the anniversary of me first starting my live chats. So some of you all have been there with me from the very beginning, and I certainly appreciate you. And I am so thankful that you tune in every week. And I try to have something interesting to talk about as well as answer your questions. And I try to use my email as a way of getting indicators as to what you guys want to talk about. And some of you have so graciously sent me emails with Monday Night Live chat in the subject line. And I thank you very much. And if you remember last week, I told you guys what I was going to talk about. And that is how to cure sweet potatoes. And I didn't want to do it from memory when I was asked the question, for the simple reason I didn't want to give out any wrong information. And you guys know I'm a senior citizen. So sometimes I forget. And I was getting a little confused with the temperature of curing and the humidity when you contrast that to what it should be when you store them. I want you all to excuse me for a minute. I have a sweet potato from last year. I think I have a couple in the grow room and I have a couple in the kitchen. And I'm going to go get them because I wanted to share them with you. So, good evening to anybody that came in after I took a little quick break to get some sweet potatoes that I had canned last year and cured and stored last year. Okay, so we have Growing with Hudson is in here. I've got Andale and Best Yet, two moderators in here. Thank you, Lord. Container Crops is here. Movie star Hattie Lamar is in the house. Lion Crest, thank you, sir, for being here. Barb Brownlee. Aunt Tia is here. Bobby Wilson, thank you for coming. Taishi 23. Crystal Pets and Plants. I saw you had a video I was gonna watch a video, watch it, but I have to do that tonight or tomorrow. Crystal, Ladybug Pamela Palmer is here. Eartha Dominique, Denise Backyard Garden. Hi, sweetie. And Karen Witherspoon, Gardner 99. I don't know if I spoke to you already. I think I spoke to everybody. From here on out, if I don't see you when you come in, my wonderful moderators will welcome you. Hey, Cheryl, I'm glad you made it. Sheila Wheeler is here. And I think that's it. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is curing the sweet potatoes. I hinted at it last week, and I told you that you have to be very careful when you are harvesting them because the skin is real thin. Some of you have already harvested your white potatoes, and if you grew them for the first time and harvested them for the first time, you know that the skin is very thin. The same rule applies to sweet potatoes and yams. I watched, I think it was a 4-part documentary, or maybe more or less, High on the Hog. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, it really shared a lot of fruits and vegetables that came to America and parts of Europe through the slave trade. Now, I don't want to get into that, and I don't want anybody to watch the movie thinking it's going to be revisiting that dreadful part of history. It just shares how American cuisine has been and always will be influenced by the African and African American culture. I found it fascinating. So much so, after watching it the first 5 minutes, I stopped and paused it. It's on Netflix, and shared it with my Facebook group. Because I don't know where I got this preconceived notion, but I had always thought that rice came to America via Asia, but it didn't. It was via Africa and the slaves. And they knew how to grow it and cultivate it, and so they brought it to America, the slave masters and traders, because my ancestors knew how, hi Mary Campbell, knew how to grow that crop. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just one example. And another example I'm going to give you is a lot of people refer to white sweet potatoes, white on the inside, the creamy flesh. They think that is a yam, but it's not. A yam is completely different, and it shows you more in detail in that movie. It's very inspiring, very educational, and it's not depressing. Okay? All right. But I highly recommend that you watch it. You will, I guarantee you're going to learn some things from that movie. I know I did. And everybody that I've talked to that have seen it told me the same thing. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about sweet potatoes. If you've ever eaten, I said this last week, if you've ever eaten a sweet potato immediately after you harvested, you probably thought, oh God, what did I do wrong? These don't taste good. And that's because, like I said last week, immediately after you harvest the sweet potatoes, the sugar has not been converted yet. In other words, you're tasting the starchy carbohydrates, and it has to go through a curing process in order for the carbs to convert to sugar. Okay, somebody said something, I saw it up here on my camera, but let me check my laptop. Joyce L. Moore said it's good that the truth about the contributions of African countries is being corrected. Yeah, because we have historians who don't have that melanated skin wrote a lot of things about a lot of broad subjects that just absolutely weren't true. And so, yes, I agree with you, young lady. So, as I was saying, the carbs haven't converted to sugar, and so they taste a lot of bland. And that is why you need to let them go through the curing process. Now, I'm going to show you some that I've cured and canned. And this is a white sweet potato. I believe it's an old Henry Puerto Rican sweet potato. And some people call them yams. I don't know if you can see that good. But you see they're white, or they look creamy in color here. And nothing's been added to them but water. And they have been pressure canned. And I put a little orange one in there too as well. This will make a wonderful sweet potato custard or a pie. And it was done last year. And I didn't label it because I usually don't have them that long. But because of the pandemic, I haven't been having social gatherings and stuff, at my house. So my grandchildren I haven't had the opportunity to make a sweet potato pie like I normally do. I made some and gave them for Christmas and they picked them up. But we haven't been networking or fellowshipping the way we normally would. That's why I didn't even label this or date it. I usually date the lids because I don't reuse my lids. And it was here longer than I anticipated. Now here's a little bitty one. And you guys remember last year I did the emergency garden, right? So I gave the majority of my sweet potatoes away. But a few people didn't come pick them up. And I kept some for myself. And I was going to use this one to make the sweet potato slips. But then I got all busy with my company, LadyCherylsNaturalProducts. And it was just too much for me to handle. And I couldn't do it. And by the way, I have suspended on my website the dates for the canning classes, to give myself a little break and catch up on some things that I need to do for myself and in this house. It was just too much for me right now. I'm not saying I'm not going to do them anymore, but the desire or the interest hasn't been that much. Hi, Stinky Puddle Ranch. Stinky Puddle Ranch. So I'm not going to do it if I have only 1 or 2 people in the Zoom class. Okay, but you can email me if you're interested, and I'll let you know when the dates open back up. However, I was talking about sweet potatoes, and I kept a couple of them like this to make slips, and I didn't because I got too busy. But I want you to see when you keep them in the dark, and I kept all the funny shaped ones, and you can see it sprouting. If you buy sweet potatoes from the store and you can't get them to sprout, I want you to know that is because they are sprayed with a chemical that prevents them from sprouting. So if you ever get one to sprout in your pantry, you know that it has not been chemically treated. And this is one of the large ones that I kept. And you can see in a dark pantry, it sprouted a whole lot. See all of that? Which would have been easy for me to make slips. I just didn't have the time. Hi, Erica Taylor. Okay, so I wanted to share with you that the skin, if I was to scrape this off with my fingernail, it's not coming off because it has been properly cured. So number 1, in order to cure your sweet potatoes, and I wrote down some statistics on my other monitor, you can't see over here, to make sure that I get it right, that the ideal curing conditions are around 85 degrees Fahrenheit and 29 degrees Celsius. And the key thing with that temperature is you have to have a high humidity. And a lot of people don't know the humidity in their house or outside because that's something they don't really concern themselves with. So I'm going to recommend that you get one of these. And I've shared it from Amazon on a lot of videos. I have one in my bedroom at my bedside table, and I keep one right here. I didn't have to go get it for my props because a lot of times I'm working at my computer, and I want to know the temperature outside and the humidity. For example, like right now, it's telling you that it's 82 degrees in the greenhouse, and the humidity was 74%. And inside of my home in the grow room, it's 78 degrees and it's 49% humidity. But this humidity was at 98% all across the board earlier today because we had flash flood rain. Everyday Life of ODC chick. I think somebody is just speaking. Okay. If you hold your questions and put them in all caps, when I finish this segment, I'll take all your questions, okay? Before I move on to another topic. If you're new to the live, let me share with you how it goes. The people that have the wrenches and their names in blue are moderators. And they have the authority to ban somebody from the channel if they are using inappropriate language or just making, I call them cheese heads or cheese sandwiches. Every now and then you get a little kid or a racist person or just somebody that just don't like me. I don't know why they wouldn't like me, but, and they'll say nasty things. Now, we have gone like 2 or 3 months without any of those type of people hiding behind their monitors, but a couple weeks ago we had 1 or 2. And guys, you must be having a good channel when you start getting a lot of thumbs down. Those are envious people. So don't take it personally, okay? Okay. I got your email, Joyce. Thank you. So now, that humidity has to be 80 to 90%. And here are some few tricks that you can do in your home to help you get that way. The first thing you need to do is don't wash them. Now, I've seen people with YouTube videos washing their potatoes, whether they're, Idaho white potatoes or Yukon Gold or your red potatoes. I'm advising you to never wash them unless you're going to cook your white potatoes that day. Don't wash them. And you know that you shouldn't eat your sweet potatoes the same day because they're not going to taste delicious because the sugar hasn't converted yet from the starch, right? So don't wash them because even as you're harvesting them, you have to be very, very careful of scratching the skin because it's real thin and it has to cure to toughen up. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you give the curing process between 4 and 14 days. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Now, I told you about you need to keep that humidity high, okay? And you can do that in a lot of different ways. You can keep the humidity up by making sure that your temperature, and if you're in a rainy climate like I am right now, you don't even have to worry about it. Trust me, the humidity is fine. Okay? So if you can't keep it between 85, 90% humidity, you just need to cure them longer. But if you have the conditions like I'm having right now in zone 8A, Mesquite, Texas, your potatoes will be cured in 4 days. Don't wash them, lay them flat. And as long as your temperature, if you are living in like central air, the room that you have them in, turn that vent, close it so that it can stay a little warm in there and the humidity will be just fine. So if your humidity or your temperature falls a little bit below that, just cure them a little longer. Make sense? Okay, just want to make sense. And the longer that you cure them, the better that they will be, the better they will taste, and the better they will store. Now, after you have done these things that I told you about curing them, you want to, of course, you want to lay them flat. Cardboard box is good, a plastic crate is good, providing that the sweet potatoes don't touch. But let's say you have a small apartment, efficiency home or whatever, and you don't have a lot of room, you can wrap them up in newspaper. And the newspaper, can touch. You heard the expression, one bad apple will spoil the whole bunch. It's true. If you get a potato and they're all, bunched up together like sardines, if one starts to decay or rotten, then it will spread. Okay? So that's why you need to make sure that you either have room all around each single potato or you wrap them in newspaper. Okay? So between 4 and 14 days, depending on your temperature, and keep the humidity close to 90 as you can. And if you can't, let them cure a little bit longer. And what is the best way to find out if they're cured is to try to scratch them and see if it peels off the skin easily. And of course, cooking them. cooking them will also let you know. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta get paper towel. I always get a little sweaty. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right now and let me glance and make sure. Oh, okay, so when you store your sweet potatoes for the rest of the year, you want to keep them in the dark and try to keep that temperature around 55 to 60 degrees. So if you live in a cold climate, let's say like Cheryl, at home with Cheryl. I think she's in Minnesota, and it's real cold. You want to just open that vent up just a little bit, and again, put a thermostat in there so that you can monitor the temperature. You want to keep that temperature around 55 and 60 degrees, okay? And then they will stay and last a very long time. This is last year's sweet potatoes. You know, guys know I don't buy hardly any groceries, and I'm certainly not going to buy anything that I can grow, okay? All right. Now, if you have a problem with humidity, you can begin by putting a pail of water in your room, okay? So that will create some moisture in the room, and then higher humidity. And then if you see you can't get that humidity rise up a little bit more, put a couple of buckets of water in that room. I guarantee you it's gonna go up, okay? All right. That's it, guys. Are there any questions about curing sweet potatoes? Now, most of you are going to be harvesting your sweet potatoes, I would say, depending on your climate, anywhere from October to maybe the 1st of December. I think I harvest mine the last October, 1st of November. Let me tell you a few things about harvesting the sweet potatoes, and then I'll get your question. Stop watering them. They'll die back. You'll get plenty of flowers. And somebody in my Facebook group, I think it was, and I'm not going to call nobody's name out, they wasn't sure if that was a good thing. The more flowers you see, the better. Don't try to cut the flowers off thinking that you're going to make the sweet potatoes get bigger or whatever. The more flowers you see, the better. But just because you don't see them producing a lot of flowers, don't necessarily mean they're not creating roots up under there. Okay? I was going to tell you something about sweet potatoes. Oh, yes. Hold the water off when you're getting ready to harvest them because the skin is very thin and you don't want them to get mushy. Be real careful. I love to let my grandchildren help me harvest the sweet potatoes because they love the discovery. They just have a good time. You can go back there and watch some of those videos if you like to and just see how those children light up when they're able to harvest their own sweet potatoes. I think that's about it. If I didn't cover something, hello, how you doing, Canadian Proud Outdoors? I think that's what your name is. I enjoyed your video, and I enjoyed seeing you in my nephew, Bro Farmer 76 chat. And so, while you guys are getting your questions together, I want everybody at this time, before I forget, if you are a YouTube content creator, I would like for you to put yes and your garden zone right now in the chat. So when people go back and watch it, they can go and click on your channel. Okay? So let's stop right now. And let's put like container crops. She's in zone 7B. Check her out, guys. The reason why I like for you to put your garden zone, because if you live in 7B and you're in 8A, go back and check out 7B too. They might be a little bit behind you or a little ahead of you. So we have Lioncrest at 8A. We have Garden of Twitty 8A, we have Restore Garden is in Florida. 8B, because there are different parts of Florida that can be maybe Garden Zone 10. And there are parts of Texas, like Houston, is a little bit warmer than where I'm in 8A. So it's good to check everybody out. At Home with Cherie is in 4B. Gardner 99 is in Zone 9. Mary Campbell is in 8A. Lavender Lady is in 10B in Florida. Unicorn Lady is, let me see, giving her name, Garden of Twitty. Stinky Puddle Ranch is in a 6B, borderline 7A and B. I understand that. That's just what I was saying. Pat G. Smith, thank you for being here, is in Zone 8. And we thank you very much. We need to support our community. There's enough information to be shared by all of us, because since this pandemic, you guys know that a lot of people are gardening for the first time. Some of them are coming upon their first year anniversary. So they're having their second spring and summer garden. So this is a beautiful thing to see that more and more people are becoming self-sustainable. Okay? Hi, J3GS Farms. Thank you so much for being here. Now, when I was out in the Food for Sunday with my little grand angels, Brian and Bria, you know those are my daughter's children. Hey, Yolanda. We were preparing for more rain. We got a lot of rain Sunday night. We got a lot of rain this morning. Flash flood rain with warnings on my cell phone. And you guys know I've been battling root rot, and I'm doing everything I can to slow it down so I can get a decent harvest of tomatoes. But let me share this with you. I'm not complaining, because there are a lot of people that were hit much harder than me. But I don't want to see all of my efforts, all of those little seeds that germinated, and I kept potting them up, and when we had the big freeze in February, I protected them like they were my children. I don't want to see all that hard work to go in vain. So I'm doing everything I can, and I've made several videos sharing with you all what I do. So they came over Sunday morning, and we were pulling off, I was pulling off the leaves, the yellowing leaves, and they were picking them up, putting them in garbage bags so we could put them in the compost. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to try to go live. I had only went live one other time right after the big freeze, February 3rd, I think it was. I went out to the greenhouse, and I just went live to show you all the dead plants and whatever that I had. And I got so much positive feedback from that impromptu live that I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 a week, because they really enjoyed it. It just blessed my heart to know that many people told me. I wasn't expecting anybody hardly even watch it, but to know that many people just like the raw realness of what was going on and going through my mind and my grandchildren's mind at that time, without any editing. And I don't like the way the plant look in that angle, and just keeping it real, you know. So I'm going to do more of that, but I won't be making real long ones. I'll just do, if I think I see something out there interesting, and I'm just going to go live. There's not going to be any announcements or anything like that, any warning. I'll just pop up, and if you're busy, maybe you can catch the replay. Okay? Now, I'm going to share something with you, and I realize now why a lot of people do go live. And this is not to criticize anybody. It depends on what you are filming with. Thank you, Stinky Puddle Ranch. It depends on what you're filming with. Making those videos take up a lot of memory. Because this phone, this is my iPhone 11S or something like that. have that much memory on here. And so that's when I bought the GoPro that was just too much for me to handle, and I sold it. And I realized it was just cheaper for me just to get out another iPhone. So this is what I'm recording on right now. So, but when you go live, you're not taking up any memory on your notebook, your tablet, your laptop, your PC, whatever you record with. It's not taking up that much camera. So that's how people have those real long live videos. It's not taking up storage space. And I just want to share that with you. Okay? So it makes a lot of sense. So mine are not going to be long, but I'm going to have maybe try to do one a week. And if that goes well, I'll do two. But I'm trying to keep them under 15, 20 minutes. Okay? All right. Unless it's something really worth being on there for a longer period of time. Okay. All right, so I shared the potatoes with you, sweet potatoes. I told you about curing them, told you how to store them. You can check out my playlist for canning. I'm sure I made a video about canning. And let me just share this with you while I'm here. I can't make a lot of canning videos anymore because you have to be so detailed and precise. And with my company, hello Naked Gardener, I don't have the time to do them anymore. However, I will do the classes. And I will notify anybody that emails me, and somebody already did. And I will occasionally can something and share it with you in a video, but I won't go into detail, and I'll tell you to check out my playlist. And I hope you guys understand, because Lady Cheryl's Products company is growing by leaps and bounds, and we're getting a lot of opportunities, and it's a one-woman operation. I pack up or put into the containers. I have all the formulas. I make up the product single-handedly. I put them in the containers. I do all the packing, shipping, and receiving, and invoicing, and it's a lot involved. And that leads me to this. I was thinking, why am I putting that plastic wrap and bubble wrap and those styrofoam peanuts in my containers when I'm an organic gardener? So, for example, this is my fragrance oil, my signature piece fragrance oil. And you'll see a little bit of the Texas Star hibiscus in here. It's organic. And it's in a carrier oil. The essential oils, I wouldn't mind sharing with you because you won't duplicate it because you don't know the formulation. But it's lemongrass, lavender, and hibiscus. Hibiscus oil, check it out. Google it. It's very expensive. Okay? And then the carrier oil is almond oil because it's so silkening to the skin. But if I'm going to make all these products that are natural, I start talking to myself, I say, why am I putting these little styrofoam peanuts? And so I said, it's got to be a biodegradable one. And I started researching, and I found them. And I did a community post on YouTube, and these are starch-based, they're plant-based, and they disintegrate in water. So from now on, when you get your Cheryl products, and I've been doing it for the last 3 weeks, but I forgot to talk about it in detail. You can take these and put these into your containers, your raised beds, your compost. They will disintegrate and add nutrients into your soil. Okay? So yeah, so I'm going as naturally as I possibly can. That leads me to the sales. I've had emails and people said, well, I can't get it right now. Can you keep that sale on? So what I did, I had inspiration last night. I said, let me put several sales at one time. And I'm gonna leave them up there for a couple weeks. So, because usually I would have it on there for a day or two or maybe a week. But I decided, let me go to my website. And those of you that are on your PCs, you can click onto my website. And if you will go to the page, and I'm not going to dwell a lot on this, guys, because this is just a part of what I do, but I'm going to talk more about gardening and preserving than anything else. But if you go to that website and look at the specials, it'll say specials and gift sets. I brought some that I already did. I kept the one on for last week, and you can see that you get the oil, you get the moisturizer, which is the milk. In that special, you get the total body cream, and then you get the fragrance. And all four of these have the same fragrance that I just mentioned, my signature scent that I developed in 1992. So when I got sick and I had to shut the company down, I never gave my formulas away. I stored them. I backed them up on external hard drives. Okay? So I have everything. And so I started off with a few products, and I may even add a few more. It just depends on how much I can handle. So all of these would be a wonderful gift for someone in your life, and it's very reasonably priced. And if you go look at that special, you'll see that it's normally about $66.95 full value for $49.99. And let's move on. And then if you want to get yourself introduced to all of the products, and let me stop and say, who is that? Container Crops. She wrote me a beautiful review. I guess that's what you call it. And she referred somebody to me, and that person bought some products, Container Crops. So I want to say thank you for that. Because she posted it, I think she posted on YouTube, yeah. So I appreciate that. And that's how the company grows, because I'm not doing any paid advertisement. I did do some in the beginning for Facebook and Instagram, but I'm not doing any more of that, because I know from my 40 years experience as a cosmetology educator, the best advertisement is word of mouth. If you get a happy client and they tell a couple more people, and then they come on and they tell a couple more people, that's all you need. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to have a nice, comfortable living in my old age, because the price of inflation has made everything go up. Now, the second special is one that introduces you to almost a complete line. And you can get the, it's called the Love Your Hair and Skincare Set. You get the body oil, the body butter, hair growth promoter, the sanitizer, the moisturizing milk, and you get 2 of the fragrance oil. And that'll last you about 6 months. Then I have another special I brought back from a few weeks ago, and this one is the one that sold the best since I started doing this special, and it is the moisturizer, hair milk. It is the total body oil, and then you get the #1 selling product, hair growth promoter, and the pain cream. Now this is the one that is going to knock this one off the chart, because this one has been selling wonderfully, the hair growth promoter, because everybody knows somebody that has hair problems. But the pain cream, as a gardener, especially us in this room, we know we get to lifting up stuff that's too heavy. I'm holding power tools. My late husband was a carpenter, so I was spoiled, guys. I never took out the trash. I never put gas in my car. I never went and had my oil changed. I never went and got a safety inspection sticker. I never had to put a light bulb in the ceiling. I never picked up a power tool. I had to learn what a Phillips and a regular, was it Phillips and whatever that is, regular screwdriver. I learned what's a reciprocating saw and a jigsaw and leaf blower, and I bought a wood chipper, and my kids bought me a leaf mulcher. I had to learn all this stuff, because I didn't know, because I was spoiled. And I had 4 older brothers, so as the oldest girl growing up in the house with 5 brothers, we didn't do that kind of stuff. Then I married right after, high school. I moved from my mom's house to my husband, our home, and I didn't learn how to do this stuff. So ladies, you never know what will happen later on in life. And I'm going to tell you who's helping me. My sister. Both of us married cousins, and she's a widow too. Her last name is Moss. But the edge that she had over me, she was supervisor for Sears in the tool department for 13 years. And sometimes the men would come in and they want to ask her a question about a tool, and she said, okay, well, I'd rather you go get your supervisor. because they saw that she was a woman and they thought she didn't know. So it was like a standing joke. She said, okay, I'll be right back. So she'll go get the supervisor. And so the customer will go, oh, so you're the supervisor? She said, no, you just talked to the supervisor. 13 years she's been a supervisor of the department. And someone would apologize and come back and ask her what they needed, and she would directly help them, and some of them wouldn't. But a lot of people think ladies don't know a lot about power tools. But I'm telling you, I am really learning about power tools because I had to. So that's the other special. And then last but not least, I got something for the guys. Ladies, it's nice to treat your man to something sensual. He may not be the kind of guy that wants the products, but most guys are wearing the beards and stuff and the milk. My son, I've developed a product line for him, and I was in somebody's live. My nephew, Pro Farmer 76 had a live, and I had to leave and go to his barbershop to drop some stuff off for him. And I came back and he was still on. So I just jumped back in on the live. It was a lot of fun. But the guys use these two products here for their hair, their skin, and this really works very well on the beard. So he's doing that. And then last but not least, I was meaning something being romantic. Light that candle for your man, honey. Like that candle. So we have the trio candle set. And the candles are already on sale for $17.99. They are all made with natural soy, wax, and essential oils. There are people in this chat that have bought them, and they will tell you that they'll make you sleep better. And I've got a description of the ones that are in this trio. It's Peace, the same signature scent, and it's also an insect repellent. And I have a lavender, which calms you down if you have anxiety. I think Best Yet got their fire signs up there. I know, because she's told me that they just relax you. And her husband said he just, ooh, I slept real good. And then I have lemongrass. And then I have other candles like peppermint when you're congested, or eucalyptus. You can check them all out. But I gave you the 3 most popular ones in this trio for only $49.99. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about my products. I'm moving on, and I'm going to tell you that I apologize to the people that won last week. I didn't get your gifts mailed out to you. You will always know when they're coming because I will send you an email. And let me see, those 2 people were Ebony and Stacy. You will get yours. I was waiting for a box. I decided that I would start using, as much as I can, boxes from the post office, since I'm spending a lot of money on those peanuts. You are going to recycle that box, or you're going to throw them away like that canister is trying to start something in the bedroom. I am. And since I'm spending more money on those peanuts than I would on the cheap styrofoam ones, I thought I'd save some money and use the post office boxes. Okay? So that's it. All right. I'm ready for your questions. Let me see what we have. Looks like we are just still speaking. So if you're ready to ask a question, put them in all caps. That's what I'm here for. And for those of you that are new in here, the reason why I bought the pain cream back is because I took a hard fall in the food forest. And if you look on my website, you'll see the nasty gash, 2 gashes on my elbow, and I fell on a concrete blocks, a garden bed. And I mean, I really damaged my muscle to the fact that it felt like mush. It was so hurting so bad. And so I had to go ahead on and whip that stuff up, and it really, really healed my back up. Okay, here's the first question. If it's not the first one, my moderators will let me know. Can you plant sweet potatoes whole and get more sweet potatoes? Okay, yes you can, but they're gonna go to mush. You can, but it's better to plant them sprouting. I have a video. If you want to go to my playlist on potatoes, you will see that it has a lot of views on it. It is how I grew sweet potatoes from store-bought sweet potatoes, something like that. And I show you how you can take that store-bought sweet potato. This is how I grew this, but it will start sprouting like this, and you can plant it down in the soil and leave this exposed, and it'll start putting on slips. And I cut them off. I put them in a water bottle inside of the soil until they had enough roots, and then I started placing them where I wanted to do so. Technically, you can, but you don't want to put just a sweet potato that's not sprouting or showing any signs of sprouting. Okay? Okay. Canadian Proud Get Outdoors says, can you send to Canada? Yes, I'll send it to you. Go ahead and order it and give me your address. I don't think Canada is that much difference in the shipping. If it is, I will email you and talk to you about it. Lady Cheryl, can neem oil work for bugs that make trailing lines on your leaves? No. Those are leaf miners. They are inside. They are inside of your leaves, and the neem oil doesn't help with that. You can, if you can catch them before they go inside. And actually, leaf miners don't do any damage to your crops. It doesn't make your leaves shrivel up and, like aphids do when they're sucking all the juice out of it and make your crops bad. You can just pluck off those leaf miner evidence leaves and just put them in the trash. Okay? If you just got 2 or 3, because I bought some starts from the big box store that had leaf miners in them already. But it was right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I wanted to do that emergency garden to help a whole lot of people. So I just plucked them off until they stopped making leaves. Okay. Thanks, Antia. She put up that that video with the sweet potatoes from store-bought sweet potatoes. Thank you, Best Yet. She put up my website. And I'm going back up to see if I may have missed it, but do we cure our sweet potatoes in the sun or in the dark? In the dark. You can do them outside if you got like a shed, a covering, or something like that, but you don't want to bake them in the sun. Because you want, yeah, I already said that. In the dark. Oh my God, Rhonda Moffett says something. Nice to see you, Rhonda. Rhonda, I know you have a YouTube channel, I think. I know I've seen you on Instagram. You might want to put if you came in late, I'm asking anybody that is a content creator to put your YouTube channel. I'm not talking about Instagram because this is YouTube channel platform, and what garden zone you're in. Because I said I wasn't going to talk about this, and I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to say this. I see a lot of stuff on YouTube that shouldn't even be on YouTube. Feuding and that type of thing. It's enough information out there that we all can give our opinion respectfully and not fall out with people. Because see, I'm not in any cliques. I stand on what I say based upon over 30 years experience gardening right outside these doors and this property. I moved here in 1991. I was gardening before then. So I know what grows well in Zone 8A, Mesquite, Texas. And that's not being boastful, overconfident. It's just being real. I know how to grow food in this climate because I've been dealing with it for a very long time. Okay. Arthritis. Okay, I got you, Canadian Proud. And the everyday life of an OCD dish chick also, so she's interested in that. Okay, for the risk. Oh, trust me, I know. Because the video, not the live one, but the one I did before that, I was using an edger that I bought. I had it over a year, a cordless one, expensive to me. And I had never used it, and that Peppermint had got out of hand, and it was all in the pathways, growing everywhere. And I'm telling you, my shoulders and stuff, I had to rub myself down after a hot shower with my pain cream. And then after I did that, before the shower and everything, I used my reciprocating saw to get those real thick branches. They're not branches, they're vines, I guess, as the mint gets old and it gets kind of woody, and I had to get that reciprocating saw, and then I had to do raking, and I'm still not finished with that area because it started raining again, and I'm waiting until it gets a little better because I don't want to slip and fall and hurt myself like I did before. And an older gentleman I saw on YouTube, and this video was several years old, and at the time I believe he was 74. He said when you work extremely hard in your garden, if you're a senior citizen like me, when you work extremely hard, rest the next day to give your muscles and your body time to recover. Now, I'm not saying stay in the bed, but don't be lifting up anything heavy and strenuous. Let's say that right, strenuous, yes. Because you need to let those muscles heal. And so that's what I've been practicing. Okay, are there other vegetables do you grow that need to be cured? No. Nope. That's it. But since you brought that up, my mind spins. It ran through my mind. Everything that you put in the freezer need to be blanched, except tomatoes. You can just wash them. You can cut them up, throw them in a bag or a food saver, you know, when it seals it off and get the air out, and then can your sauce and your salsa and all that stuff at a later date. But you don't have to blanch onions, and I was saying tomatoes, and peppers. You can put peppers, wash it, towel dry it, put it in a bag, throw it in the freezer. Now, if you cut it up, your peppers and your onions like I do, you want to put them on a cookie sheet or any flat plate or whatever. Put them in the freezer and let them kind of freeze halfway, and then crumble and break them up, and then put them in a plastic bag. See, I make soup today, and I'm going to can it tomorrow. Everything now is in the refrigerator. Around this time of the year, I start going through my refrigerator, right? And I pull out my turkey stock, I pull out some chicken, I pull out chicken stock, and I have a lot of it in cans too. I pull out vegetables in the freezer, and then I make a stew. And because I was going live tonight, I didn't want to complicate things and pressure can it now, so I got it in the refrigerator. And then I will sterilize my jars, pack my jars, cold process them, put them in the canner, put the water in it cold, and then I'll process them tomorrow. 90 minutes because it has chicken in it for quarts, and 75 minutes for pints. Now, I might share with you what I did, but I'm not going to do the whole drawn-out video. I'll refer you to my canning list because I've canned soup before. I just don't want to have redundant videos. I always, if you all watch that about me, and I know it comes with my cosmetology background being an educator, I try to give you a different twist or a different angle on it. I hate to watch the same thing over and over again. Now, some people may need to watch it over and over again because they may be new to gardening and it's not redundant to them. But to me, it is. And I like originality, too. I don't like to see a video and somebody go and copy it. Let me be quiet. I shouldn't say that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Question. Question, question. I always get in trouble when I start running my mouth too much. So you can use my onions the same day. Yes! You can let them dry out. You can let garlic dry out if you want to, but it's better to just go ahead on and chop those onions up. I got a video on caramelizing onions in my crock pot. I got a video on dehydrating onions in the dehydrator. And then I got a video on how I just chop them up and throw them in the freezer. So I pulled all of that out and made a big old pot of stew today. Yes, home with Cheryl. It's called heat and serve soup. And then you can take that. I made mine low carb. Now, then you can take that soup It's really not soup because it's not that liquidy. Because I like a lot of okra in mine. And I'll show you in the video how many bags of okra I put in there. Well, I don't know if I took a picture of all of them, but it makes it thick in there. And you can cook some rice and then just put you a scoop of that stew on top of it. You can make mashed potatoes and put that on top of it. It's just a basic heat and serve stew or soup. And you can take that and make a meal out of it. You can make some cornmeal muffins and eat it with that stew. You can make hot water fried cornbread. I've done it on the stove, in the cast iron skillet, or in my air fryer. We're just spraying a little oil on top of it and then flipping it over. That's what I'm really trying to count my carbs. So there are a lot of things that you can do with that meal in a jar. Heat and serve, add 1 or 2 ingredients, and you got a meal to go. When you're working real hard in your garden, or you pulled a double for those of you that are still working, or you just had a lot of busy things going on that day, when you can your food, you always can come up with a meal. It's so easy. So easy. I still got soup from last year, but I'm making more because I know I'm going to start harvesting, and I'm going to get my tomatoes in the freezer, so I need that room. Okay. And you talking about some good eating, you are right, Eco Neighbor. My soup is going, no matter how old it is, it doesn't have the citric acid and other preservatives that manufacturers make and put into those cans that you get out of the store. So anything that you see basically in a can, you can do it in a jar. Okay? All right. Are there any more questions? Yolanda, do we not cure garlic? Yes, you can cure your garlic, but I mean, you can eat it fresh too. You're right about that, Yolanda. You can't cure garlic, but most people just hang it up to dry for storage. It's not that it's going to taste horrible if you eat it fresh, like a sweet potato if you take it right out of the garden. And by the way, let me share something with you. It's one thing that you want to take from harvest to canning or freezing right away, and that is corn. Because corn has less calories and less carbs the hour after you grow it. You got that time window where you can eat a whole lot of it and it won't have a high caloric intake. So if you go and take that and blanch it and freeze it, or take that and blanch it and can it, it's better than going into the supermarket and buying corn that's been up, there for a month or 2, or even for a few weeks. Corn tastes fresher the first hour after it has been harvested. Okay. Okay, moderators, I'm not seeing any questions. Am I missing anybody? Now, the pain cream is not something that you want to wear to work or to church because it has a liniment smell to it. Okay? But it works. It's not something that you're going to put on and then go work in the office and people are going, who is that? I'm just being real with you. Okay? Because you got a lot of essential oils that will draw out inflammation and infection. I can go into it, but I really don't want to go there because I want to get these questions. Somebody talked about society garlic. Question. Next time, put it in all caps. I don't know if you all noticed, but they have changed the format and the way the questions come across. And all I'm seeing when I try to pull it down, I just see garlic and something else. So let me just talk randomly about society garlic, if that's what you want to know. The reason why I have it in my garden, because it is very pungent. I don't cook with it, but you can. I've Googled and researched, you could. But everywhere that I have society garlic, I don't get those hornworms around my tomatoes. They're outlining my garden beds. I started off with 3 cloves or plants, little small bulbs, that's what I'm trying to say, from Lowe's, they were marked down to $1. And then I bought 3 bulbs off of eBay. This may have been 3 or 4 years ago. I know I have over 100 plants that have multiplied by propagating them. He wants to know, how do you know when to harvest sweet potatoes? Okay, I'll get that question. I'm glad I see that one on my phone. And Brian, who is 8 years old, or will be 8 in August, I think. I can turn my back and let him propagate society garlic now, because I've taught him well. He knows that we have to dig it up, and we put it on a piece of wood or anything, hard, or a small hard plastic cutting board and a knife. And he knows how to use a knife. He knows how to pass the knife. He knows how, you know what kids do. And he slices it down the middle, and he makes sure that whatever he cuts, some of the roots are on each piece, and you can multiply it. And remember, guys, I showed them to you in February after the big freeze. And I said, I don't know if they're going to come back. They all came back. And they're in beautiful clumps. I mean, just all around the garden beds. And I'm going to share this with you all, too. I'm getting ready to redesign the 2 garden beds in my food forest. I already got the bricks. They're sitting in my driveway with a tarp over them. I'm going to use concrete blocks. But remember how I told you guys I'm working smarter and not harder? And my back and knees are what the average person that stood up, behind the chair doing hair for 40 years. And you can imagine what they're like. So I'm stacking 2 concrete blocks or cement blocks. And by the way, they're called cinder, but they don't have that toxic cinder ash in it anymore. They stopped doing that in the 80s. So it won't go into your food. And I'm bringing that up. They're like 11 3/4 inches high. So I'm bringing those garden beds up even higher, because I'm having a time getting down and pulling off the yellowing leaves, So this fall, I'll be digging up all of my society garlic, and I'll be redoing those beds. And I'll take you along step by step and show you how I do it. I think about it every night, how I'm going to do it. Because right now, they are vertical. And it's hard maneuvering around, with the trees and everything I have. And I think that I'm going to make them go horizontal. And I'm not going to make them as wide. They are 4x8, which are perfect beds for growing, because you can harvest from in either side. But I think I'm going to downsize and go a little bit longer horizontally, but a little bit shorter in the beds. That's something I think about and dream about. I can't wait to get started. I've taken your advice on one day on, one day off, working in the garden, Yankee sister. Yes, it makes a big difference. Okay, so I can use my harvest the same day, onions after I harvest them. Yes, ma'am. Can you plant? Oh, I did that one about the whole sweet potato. Thank you, Tommy, for bringing that. And I'm telling you all, Tommy is moving. And if you ever want to see somebody pack up a garden, instead of wallowing in pity talking about, I wish I had more notice or whatever, and I got to pack up. Get motivated and watch Tommy. She changed the name to Tommy's Hoodstead Garden. I admire her a lot for all that she's doing. And I'm going to tell you something else, too. I talked about him last week. I'm talking about him again this week. Peanut Pepper has a real small channel. You hardly ever see him physically. He just walks around with his little camera. I think he has less than 700 people, subscribers. But you talking about tenacity and determination. That brother's stuff flooded out. He flooded out, guys. Just imagine your front porch floating away in Louisiana. I can never talk about how much rain, even though we've had a lot of it. I can never complain about it. This man grew all of his stuff during the winter, had the grow room with aluminum foil all over the room with all kind of grow lights, and he lost almost everything. And now he's back in that grow room, air conditioner on, checking the humidity and the temperature, and he's starting all over again. So don't wallow in pity when something doesn't work out right. Don't wallow in pity because it got too much rain or you put your seeds out and they froze. I saw a lot of people talking about that this season. It's a learning experience. You learn and you keep it moving. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. We don't sit by and play a little sad song. We just keep it moving. Okay? I kept my babies alive, my plants alive. When I had a power outage for over 26 hours? Something like that. You just keep it going. And to be honest with you guys, which I always try to be honest, I have a better crop in the fall and winter than I do in the spring and summer. Because there's so much rain, and then we're getting ready to go into our drought period. And then it's going to get super hot, and I have to put shade cloths and everything all around the garden. You'll see, I'll have like a little tent city out there. I'll be sharing all of that with you as I go along. So don't give up if you have a bad situation. You just keep it moving. Okay. Somebody had to leave. I certainly understand. Good night, babe. I appreciate you. I'm looking for questions. Yes, Tommy, you're right. It's more to it in the spring and the summer. It's a lot. You can get out there and put your tomatoes out there, and then all of a sudden they drop down to 33 degrees. And it was unexpected. Is society garlic soft? Yes, it is. And Ty Lily says she went over and subscribed to him. Peanut peppers. I wish all of you all would. If you want to be inspired. And he knows a whole lot about animals. I've learned a lot from him. Yes, Susie. Susie, those society garlic blooms are beautiful. They are a beautiful lilac, lavender color. They are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love them. Peanut peppers. He grows a lot of peppers, and he makes a triple X and a double X and a 1X pepper seasoning, and he makes pepper jelly and stuff like that, and he sells it. Okay, Container Crops found them. Good. So, if you have a YouTube channel and you came in late, put your channel out there. Somebody said it's not a loud smell to me. They must be talking about garlic. Doesn't smell real loud to me, if that's what you're talking about. Yes, I did hot water cornbread in the air fryer veggie farm garden. I have the attachments. I have the little, I guess it's a cake pan or whatever. It's a little round pan that goes into the air fryer. And I spray that with olive oil. And then I make my little balls and smash them down like you do hamburgers. And I put them in there. Yeah. They say you could make a cake in there, but I have never tried. I try not to do a lot of carbs. Because I told you, I got so much stuff I have to watch out for. High blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, all that stuff. So I don't make that often, and I don't do it a lot. Okay, somebody said cocktails with joy. Hey, gardening and cocktails with joy. I collected seeds from a college. Do they need to sit a while before planting? If they dry, no. You can plant them this fall to go into the winter. What do you all put in the hole when planting tomatoes? Okay, you guys know what I put in. I put a little azomite rock dust. I put a little worm cast. I put a lot of compost. If I don't have any made, I do black cow. And I know somebody in my Facebook group, they got some bad black cow. And but for the most part, that is a reputable company. But always open up your bags and check, depending on what area of the country you live in. But black cow has always worked for me. But I heard people say they had seeds in it, and I never had an issue out of it. But homemade compost is the best, and that's what I use. Now, back in the day, I was told that, I said calcium, didn't I? Yeah. I know some people put fish heads and eggshells and all that, but I don't. Okay? I use garden lime, which is calcium. And guys, you guys know I use comfrey tea. I don't buy a lot of stuff like I used to. Yes, I buy stuff like neem oil, repel oil, mycorrhizal fungi, just a little bit now. I don't have to buy a lot. I buy azomite rock dust, but I don't buy a lot of fertilizers and stuff anymore because my soil is so healthy. I don't have to. Okay. I'm looking to see if I got any questions. Joy said, my heat and serve stew takes away excuses for my husband going to fast food restaurants. For sure. You can never say you don't have anything in there to eat. When the pandemic was, when the city went shut down, my kids said they weren't worried about mama. They said, Mama, do you need anything? I know you don't need no food. I said, y'all know I'm good. All I needed was laundry detergent and bleach. And my son-in-law brought that put it on the front porch and left and, rang the ring doorbell. And my daughter-in-law, she said she would order me paper towel and toilet paper. And then she said she was coming to my area because they live about 40 miles away, my oldest son's wife and him. And she came all the way over here and dropped me off toilet paper and paper towel. And I mean, when I say they brought me, I'm talking about cases. I got to buy laundry detergent now for the very first time because I'm still using them 2 gallon of detergent my son-in-law brought me. And so now my baby son bought a house over here in Mesquite, so I have my daughter and my youngest son here. So if anything happens, I was looking at those power surgers and, not power surgers, emergency generators and stuff. I was thinking about getting one, but I'm not really sure. My kids said, Mama, we will load you up and your children, meaning my plants, if they happen to get in, take you to their house. And also, I have a fireplace. I don't know if you can see it from here. I have a fireplace, and it's gas ignited, and I have gas in the house. So, yeah, I'm good. Okay, here it is. How do you know when to harvest sweet potatoes? I knew it was one I was going to come back to. Number one thing is, who asked that question? Jean Dudley. You must harvest them before a freeze. Once the temperature gets to 32 degrees, it will damage your whole crop. So if you know it's going to freeze, I don't care if you think you got a lot of potatoes or not. You want to go ahead on and harvest so that you'll get some better than none. But just like your regular potatoes, your leaves will start dying back. And speaking of leaves, baby, if you want to eat something good, Beauregard sweet potato leaves are the tastiest ones to me. And I've tried a lot of different types. But the heart-shaped leaves that the Beauregards make, if you take them off, wash them real good, towel dry them, get that water out, put you a little olive oil, or you can put a little butter in your skillet, put you a little garlic, onion if you eat that, then put your leaves in there. You don't have to chop them up because they're going to disappear, like shrink up like spinach. And that's what it tastes like. It tastes like a sweet potato spinach. It is delicious. So you can cut those leaves off and eat them. Okay? All right. So when they start dying back and it's before it gets to a 32-degree freezing temperature, harvest your sweet potatoes. Please go back and look at my sweet potato harvest with my kids, my grandkids last year and the year before. We have so much fun. We had some sweet potatoes, I think that was like 4 pounds. And what's my secret? A little sand, homemade or bulk black cow fertilizer, and I use new potting mix. I don't use a lot of old potting mix because I do mine in containers. And then I take that with the sweet potatoes will grow in, and I'll use it to plant a tree or something else in. Okay? And then I just give them fermented tea about twice. And that's it. Oh, I know somebody wanted to ask me about watering sweet potatoes, and I think I told them in my Facebook group I'll talk about it tonight, or I saw the question, and I just said, I don't have time, I gotta get ready and go on. When you first plant your sweet potato slips, give them a little bit of water every day for the first 5 to 7 days. And then after that, you can water them twice a week for about 2 weeks, and then after that, once a week. And when it gets really hot, don't get nervous if you see the leaves wilting all down about around 7 o'clock. Just know the sun is going to go down real soon. Don't water them because you can overwater them. And when you get up the next day, you'll see a little dew on them and they'll be all perked back up again. The same thing with green beans. They only need 1 inch of water a week. But when you first put them in, when you're germinating your bean seeds, you need to give them a little water every day or every other day. But they only need, beans and potatoes, only need about 1 inch of water a week, okay? And I'm running down. I harvested some more beans today. And, yeah, I'm going to go get them. I was trying to decide if I'm going to do it or not. This comes out of the refrigerator. Somebody had the audacity to email me to ask me how did they know I was not showing the same beans over and over. Which I thought that was really, I don't think like a criminal, or I don't think like somebody trying to deceive somebody. So here, y'all see all of this? That's one harvest. And I probably put too much in the first one. That's 2 harvests. And this is about what I got today. So when you put them all together, that's a lot of beans. I don't have to pretend that I'm getting more than what I'm getting. I'm very honest with you. I tell you, I'm gonna have to probably pull those beans any day now because they're getting root rot. They're getting more and more of yellow leaves. But what's so wonderful about this will give me about 3 quarts if I cook them down. What's so wonderful about those beans is this. I didn't have to bend over. I didn't have to bend my knees. I didn't have to do nothing but stand there. Like one of them old ladies in the rose garden, and she's got a gardener and she's just cutting off some roses. That's how I feel when I'm using my grow boxes. You see what I'm saying? Work smart, not hard. So everything is getting elevated. I even got beans in my baskets. I go over there and I get some more of them. I experimented in the baskets. I said, let me see which one's going to grow the best, the top crop or the contender. And the top crop grows a little faster, but all the beans in the basket can handle the drainage, the root rot issue. So I have strawberries that I purchased. A friend bought them for me, 3 for $10, and I'll put them in baskets. I'm gonna put them in one of the grow boxes because they do well in the grow boxes. And next year, I'm gonna plant more green beans in the baskets for the drainage effect of them. Okay? So yeah. I try to show when I'm harvesting so people won't get the wrong idea. But I don't know why people even think like that. But some people do. They actually watch your video to see anything that they catch you doing wrong. It's kind of sad to always live on the edge looking for something bad. Okay, I want to know how I know when it's time. I told you that about the sweet potatoes. Okay, let me see if I got another one. I want to know if Society garlic flowers. I want to know if Society garlic flowers and attract pollinators. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any flower will attract a pollinator. Hey, Bull, I didn't see you in here earlier. Uh, yes, Rhonda, you know, standing behind that chair. And Rhonda, let me tell you something, because you're much younger than me. I want to tell you something. I can multitask. So I'm curling, I'm talking. I will take my knee. You can't see. I'm going to go up a little higher. I will take my knee and turn the chair around. Don't do that. Okay? I did that for a long time, and that wore that cartilage out. Actually, I need to have a knee replacement. So that chair is ergonomically where you can rise it up and down, pump it up and down, or lock it, or you can turn it. And I turned it with my knee because I was just steadily curling because I was in the mall and I was working fast, getting in and out. Okay? And I kind of damaged my knee. So yes, Rhonda, you know. You know. So I'm telling you now, when you get in your 60s, start doing some things. The same principle, Rhonda, and any other hairstylist or anybody that work standing up behind the chair, electrician or plumber, whatever. Start making preparations in your 60s to work things smart ergonomically where you don't have to be bending over and all that and getting down on your knees. Because this spring has been a trip with all that water getting down and cutting those yellow leaves. Ty Lily, hello. Sorry I'm late. What is Society garlic used for? No, it's an insect repellent. Who is that? Ty Lily, insect repellent. Keep the hornworms away from your tomatoes. And yes, Jean Dudley, you can put them in your containers. Yankee sister asking me if it's hard neck or soft neck. I don't know, Yankee sister. I would imagine it's soft neck. Don't quote me on that one. I don't store it. I grow it all year round. Yes, Tia, doing the blocks. Yes. And I plant it in the holes too. I plant marigolds because they don't take a real deep root. But in these new beds, I think what I'm going to do is, I know what I'm going to do. I already ordered them. I'm going to put the covers on them so I can sit pots and things like that, marigolds or whatever, on that landing. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate you. Okay, I appreciate the cash out. One more than once then. Thank you. I saw all that water on his video. Devastating. Yes, home with Cherie. At home with Cherie. Yes, peanut pepper. And he broke his toe, 3 toes. And he out there in the water with the boot on and still trying to see. He even had alligator on his property. Today I watched him, the drainage hole was stomped up or clogged up, however you want to see it. He's a trooper. You have to keep going. Okay, somebody, Mary Campbell said, my sweet potato has small holes in them. Holes in. What do you mean holes? You dug them up? You dug them up and they got holes in them already? You should be digging them up right now, but I don't understand that one. You might need to send me a picture and email me, Mary. And thanks, Ty Lily, for subscribing to him. Susie, yes, they have blooms. Okay. My sweet potatoes have holes in them too, said my nephew. I don't know, guys. I've never seen a little dent. You mean holes or little dents? When you say hole, you mean like this? Indentations? That's just normal. Yeah, boo. Yeah. If I didn't laugh so hard, I would have. I mean, why even watch me? Why even watch me, boo? If you think I'm. I saw that when I couldn't help but laugh. Accusing me of harvesting the same beans over and over. For what? I already told you I got root rot. I wouldn't be ashamed if I didn't get a lot of harvest. I can't control the rain. I wouldn't be upset. No, I would be a little disappointed, but I wouldn't be upset if I don't get any beans. I still got, let me shut up. Yeah, that was a trip. Accused me of reharvesting food. My friend said, okay. Okay, so I think that's it, everybody. Bull, please put your garden zone and where you are, garden zone, so that people can come to your channel. And if anybody else came in late, you guys know that you're welcome to put your channel. I'm just going back. Ty Lily, it keeps off bugs, insects, worms, hornworms. Oh! I found a swallowtail butterfly worm today on my deal. I videotaped it. I don't have enough experience or the gall to try to capture it and put it in a jar and put holes in it and put food in it. I'm not going to do any of that, but I shared it with you all. I'll share it with you all in a video. But I'm just going to let it do its thing by itself. Excuse me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I especially want to thank my moderators. Shanana, I didn't see you in the house. Thank you, sweetie, for being here. And anybody else that, Gigi Naturals Homestead, I think I spoke to you, but I'm not really sure. Nature 9 and family is here. I'm just going back, guys, showing some love to everybody. If you didn't put that you have a website, YouTube channel, put your garden zone and, okay, here's one. Sheila Wheeler 1. How is your soursop tree? Has it flowered yet? I have a tree that I grew from seed. It is about 10 years old, but flowers and fruits scarcely. Any recommendation? No, I have never had it to flower yet. I think this fall will be my 4th year. I pulled all the bad leaves off that went into shock when I put them outside. And I'm waiting for it to bloom. I'm doing everything I can. I know it doesn't like a lot of humidity, so it doesn't work well in my greenhouse. Thank God they were in the house when we had the big freeze, because they can't take temperatures below 40, and they don't like a shock from one environment to another. I've had it twice, 2 trees to lose all of their leaves. I may sell one, because it's kind of I'm getting too much stuff, guys. So, yeah, but I'm growing them for the leaves. You know, soursop tree leaves make an excellent antioxidant tea that would eat up the free radicals in your body and prevent you from getting cancer. And you guys know that I had breast cancer, 1992, almost 30 years. Ain't God good? So I do a lot of holistic stuff as preventative measures. Okay, but yeah, I grew my 2 soursop trees from seeds, and I have a very dear friend that wants one. Thank you very much to my moderators. Blessing and peace to all of you guys. You know that I love you. There was one lady that's supposed to email me a picture so I can get more detail. Can't think of her name right now, but you guys know that I love you. Oh. Somebody came on the comments and wrote, stop telling people that God loves them. Okay? I thought that was like, what? Stop telling people God loves them. So I'm going to say it again. You guys know I love you, and God loves you too. Remember, grow your own, eat your own. It's not hard. You can do it. Good night, everybody. Love you. Good night.